If you're thinking to yourself right now, hang on, is Daz in an hoodie? Yes, I am. The heating is down in my house. I'm not getting changed because my pregnant missus is asleep. So if this is your first impression of me, hi, yes, I am aware the Celtics are going to lose Game 6 in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks and the Pacers are going to play in the Easter Conference Finals. I know that, so you can give me crap for that in the comments if you want to. But I am a professional, don't stress. But Isaac Heeney and Chad Warner have just dual-handedly beaten Carlton. So let's talk about quite a crap game at the SCG for hopefully as little time as possible. So my first thought is that if Isaac Heeney had just kicked a little bit straighter, I don't know why I nearly went Italian then, this could have been genuinely one of the best games that we have seen individually from a player. 38 touches and 2 goals, 5 is bad shit. If that's 38 and 5 goals too, you'd give him all 6 Brownlow votes just straight up. When you look at how great that is, think about what the Chad did. 30 touches, 2 goals. And he was so far second best on ground, it wasn't funny. I don't think we can properly articulate just how crazy that is, but that's my first thought. Let's get into the winners, which is, of course, the Swans. Now, the surface had a lot to do with it, as we know, because this was a really dour and crap game of footy. And in those kind of crap, ugly, scrappy kind of games, the team that wins is going to get let off the hook for a lot of the scrappiness that took place. But it was very simple. As soon as the Swans could get any ounce of overlap run or on transition, they were away. Nick Blakey did nothing for 3 quarters. Ball movement improved in the last quarter. And it seemed like he was involved in the first 3 or 4 chains that were starting to lead to scores. So that was pretty good. Their dominance out of clearance was spectacular, especially considering what the Blues have been able to do from contest, both in clearance and post-clearance in terms of contested ball and ground ball gets. The Swans not only were not embarrassed in these areas, but outright equaled them and bettered them in the second half in big ways. They are massive ticks from a personnel point of view. I thought Sam Wicks's game was fantastic down back. Tom McCartan v. Charlie Curnow and a little bit of Harry Mackay as well. He was fantastic. I know Charlie and Harry kicked 5 between them. It's one of those games where the key defender is not going to get a whole lot of credit. He fought back in really nice ways. Charlie kicked a couple from spots that you wouldn't expect him to kick them from, in which case you just got to kind of doff the cap, if you will. So that's perfectly fine. Of course, into the midfield, Isaac and Chad, they were spectacular. I don't want to harp too much about them because harp on too much, I should say, because they were otherworldly. They were so far ahead of the game in terms of their quality that they deserve to be either watched or experienced on their own or go back and watch the mini. They're genuinely in everything. Heeney's third quarter especially, Chad Warner's first quarters especially. His last was great as well. But outstanding, simply outstanding. Shout out Angus Sheldrick. Don't think I've seen him play a better game. Don't think that I've seen him play a better game, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. The young Western Australian, who I am sure is going to be on West Coast's radar come the end of the season. He keeps performing like that, though, and he'll be bloody going nowhere if it's up to the Swannies, let me tell you. So fantastic job there. Is that about it? Brodie Grundy versus Mark Pittonet was very good. Grundy did everything you expect Grundy to do in terms of roaming around the ground. His crumbing ability was fantastic. Not only was he hitting contests at pace, he was one of the Swans' 3, 4, 5 cleanest players below his knees, and that was a real point of difference considering how bad the surface was because of the concert in Sydney, an opera concert in Sydney at the cricket ground. Because that makes sense. Goodness gracious me. But anyway, we move on from that in a big way. In terms of who else was good, not enough in order to be a massive standout. I think the collective happiness that should be coming from Sydney supporters, Sydney people, and of course Dean Cox is going to be the way that they were able to methodically overwhelm the Blues in that second half is going to be something to work on. If we treat the Swans as an injury-ravaged new coached side instead of last year's grand finalists, then you might feel a little bit better about where they're at. I'm still not thrilled, but one of the better good news stories out of this is that Callum Mills got through the VFL game, which is fantastic, and they should hopefully start getting some more troops back. Joel Amati probably should have kicked straighter. I think without him and Heeney there, I think they only kicked like 4 behinds. So between them, they were the inaccurate ones. Everyone else just chipped in as best they could, to be honest. But with more continuity, can the Swans make a run? I'm unsure. I'm still probably leaning towards not making finals, but the better that they get throughout the year, the scarier they'll become as a prospect. But in the terms of an ugly game, win ugly. And they absolutely did that through their 2 superstars. So shout out to them. Let's talk about Carlton. So the analysis for Carlton is actually going to be really simple. When momentum slips away from the Blues, they do not have enough match turners. Yes, Sam Walsh got tagged by Jimmy Jordan, who I probably should have given the respect to in the Sydney analysis, so you can have it here, Jimmy. You were awesome. But when the going gets tough at Carlton, there are not enough that want to go, let's go get this momentum back. And that is going to be a hell of a problem. Too many go missing when it gets too hard. Now, in terms of who played well for the Blues, of course, Adam Chera is going to lead the pack there. He was fantastic. Adam Sard did some really good things. I am loving Cooper Lord, by the way. What a mid-season draft day pickup he has been. But they have got a lot of passengers right now, the Blue Baggers do. Yes, I know De Koning didn't play, and we can bring in a few factors. What if that out of bounds wasn't out of bounds? And if you're going to play the what ifs on things that are outside of your control, you'll drive yourselves crazy. Carlton, for so long, they had, I think it was 71% of time in their forward half in the first quarter. I think by 3-quarter time, that number was still 58%. Like, that's a massive amount when you've got 2 Coleman medalists, but the conditions weren't great. Well, they had small forwards named. When's Jesse Motlop going to rip a game apart, for example? Like, for the neutrals now, if you don't like Carlton, seeing them not perform that well is probably going to be fun for you to watch. I am not actively trying to watch the Blues fail, but what gives me the shits a little bit is you're kind of looking at it just going, right, so if Cripps isn't Superman and Adam Chera isn't an A double plus, and the two, and Curnow and Mackay aren't, again, perfect, which they were not, they were still good, they can't win. Well, what have you got then? And what does that mean in terms of moving forward? Because if the rest of the list is 3 years behind, well, that could be a little bit of a problem moving forward, depending on the fragility of Charlie, who has been incredibly healthy in the past. We know that, but I feel like the time is ticking on the Blues more so than they want to think. Will White did a couple of nice things. Jackson Binns did a couple of nice things. But in terms of trying to pick out guys in terms of composure and who you want to lay blame to, if you're trying to blame anyone in that side who is under 23 years of age, I just think you're going about it the wrong way. There is a soft underbelly to this Carlton side right now that would be a huge concern. A massive concern. But overall, this is going to be the epitome of we will never think about this game again. And we probably should, because Heeney's performance deserves to be lauded. But it was not in a game that, for the neutrals, was an overwhelming positive one to enjoy. So, they're my thoughts, guys. Heeney and Warner, fan-bloody-tastic. Carlton, no good despite the scoreboard. And we have 2 teams that probably are not going to make finals in not very good conditions, play not very good footy, which kind of stinks. Fingers crossed the rest of the round is better. I'll be checking back in with you on Saturday and Sunday evenings, guys. So I hope you enjoy those check-ins. I hope you enjoy this video. Like it if you like it. Subscribe if you can. We're nearly at 5,500, so your help is required. I'll see you in the next one.